Ladies and gentlemen, it is your host with the, well, I guess I can't really say the most since Kiko has more subs than me. But in any case, everybody, hello, my name is AvrielR32, this is my deck profile, and this is my intro. So you guys are probably wondering, Avery, what kind of deck is this? This deck doesn't make any sense. You're using Wave Motion Cannon, Prohibition, Messenger of Peace, Shard of Greed. What in the world is going through your head right now? That is a very good question, and I don't know what's going through my head right now, but I can definitely explain this deck profile. This deck is called Jowgen Burn. I originally got this deck idea from my friend Gagex Scapegoat. We've been working on this deck for a while. So I did want to just give credit to him for thinking of this deck and kind of, working on it. And I've, taken it up and helped him with it a little bit along the way as well. And so I just wanted to explain this deck for what it is. It still is in what you could say the project phases, we'll call it. Because the thing is that there's still a few tweaks that we feel that we can be able to make to this deck to make it better. We're just not sure what those are yet, and that's what the side deck is, just to kind of get that out of the way first. These are just things you can consider when building this deck. Same thing with the extra deck, which I'll explain in just a moment. But for now, I'm just going to go through the deck and explain the entire deck once I get done with it. So we have 3 Jowgen the Spiritualist, 3 Gravekeeper Spy, 3 Recruiter, 3 Gravekeeper's Guard, 1 Descendant. That's your entire Gravekeeper engine, and then we have the 3 Effect Veiler. So essentially what the monster lineup is supposed to do is that you don't really have a super fast wave going through your deck. Yes, you do have Potted Duality and you got Shard of Greed and you have stuff like that, but those aren't always going to be there when you need them necessarily. So you have the triple effect veilers that shut down your opponent's effects. You have Gravekeeper's Descendant to, blow up your opponent's stuff. Even though it is at 1, you will see it every now and again. You may not see it as often as you want to, which is why we've been kind of debating maybe put it up to 2. But for now, 1 has been working out fine in testing. Jowgen the Spiritualist, in case you don't know what this does, it's a bit of an older card, but you can discard a random card from your hand to the graveyard and destroy all special summon monsters on the field. Cute, right? Neither player can special summon monsters, so it has a built-in Fossil Dino effect, which is really, really nice. So that pretty much explains the whole monster lineup. Also, with the spies, really, you're not supposed to attack with this deck at all, unless you absolutely have to. You're not supposed to attack with this deck at all, really, hence why you're using triple Wave Motion Cannon. You can just set the Spy, have your opponent run into it. It has a big 2000 ass, flip, get yourself a Recruiter or a Descendant, whichever one you need. Recruiter will blow up, getting you more search power to help thin through your deck even quicker. Guard, of course, is used to help, send your opponent's stuff back to their hand, and just kind of simplify the game state. Like I said already, Veiler is just meant to negate their effects. So now, moving on to the spells, we have 3 Secret Village of the Spellcasters, 1 Terraforming, 3 Wave Motion Cannon, 3 Prohibition, 3 Messenger of Peace, 3 Level M Area B, 3 Potted Duality, and a Shard of Greed. 3 Secret Village of the Spellcasters. In case you don't know what it does, you control a Spellcaster type monster and your opponent does not. Your opponent cannot activate spell cards. If you control no Spellcaster type monsters, you cannot activate spell cards. Well, your entire monster lineup is Spellcaster, so you're never going to have an issue with not having a Spellcaster. This is super, super crucial in your deck. Like, next to Wave Motion Cannon, this is probably the MVP of the deck. For the simple fact that this shuts down your opponent's spells, so they can't MST any of your stuff. They can't, They can't Night Beam any of your stuff. Terraforming, of course, has helped to also thin through your deck to get to your Secret Village. This is really player preference. I've been testing with 1 Terraforming, and it's been working fine. Back when I ran Garden Beat part of last format, I only used 1 Terraforming with triple Black Garden, and it worked out just fine. It's all player preference, so do with that as you please. The 3 Wave Motion Cannon, like I said, next to Secret Village of the Spellcasters is your MVP. You can let this thing get up to 8 counters, send it away, boom, 8,000 damage, you win. And you're probably thinking, well, how is that going to work when only you're relying on Secret Village of the Spellcasters to shut down their spells? True, yes, but you're also using 3 Prohibition. With this, pretty much game 1 you want to call generic stuff, like Mystical Space Typhoon, Dust Tornado, anything that is going to, possibly give them an edge over you to shut down your control aspect of this deck, which will then, in turn, just destroy your burn aspect. Because, like I said, you're really not supposed to attack with this deck at all. You're just meant to let your wave motion cannon, get to 8 counters, and just blow them away for game. And Prohibition helps with this tremendously because once you call MST, boom, their MST is shut down. You call Dust Tornado, boom, their Dust Tornado is shut down. You call Night Beam, boom, their Night Beam is shut down. I mean, that's 3 cards right there that you can call Prohibition. If you're going against Light Sworns, boom, call JD. Because if they go first and you just see all this Light Sworn stuff, oh, well, then they're probably running Light Sworns. Call MST, call JD, call something else that you feel like you need to call, and then you're good to go. 3 Messenger of Peace. This, it does a couple things. For one thing, it compensates for level limit area B because it does nothing against Exceeds, obviously. But Messenger of Peace is also your backup plan, really. If your opponent is just exceeding like a mofo, you can just play the Messenger and slow them down that way. You may think that makes the level limit area Bs irrelevant and useless in this deck because of that, but it's really not, because it's an extra 3 card stall. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have the 3 Messenger of Pieces, yes, but if you for whatever reason lose those, at least you have the level limit area Bs to somewhat slow down the opponent, so that you're not just relying on the Messenger of Pieces, but you also have the level limit area B to help back you up. Shard of Greed, honestly, this is just MST bait, because really, you're not really ever going to be getting off Shard of Greed. If you do, great. You got up a +2 in a control deck, which is awesome. That is amazing. And if it doesn't go off, that's fine. You made your opponent waste an MST on a useless Shard of Greed, which they could have used it on Wave Motion Cannon, Messenger Piece, anything like that. And then, of course, Dark Hole, more simplification of the game, and Triple Dark Bribe for the traps. You want to be able to control the game, as I said. That's a big emphasis that I really want to hit home with this deck, is that you are controlling, not really attacking unless you absolutely need to. Hit them for game with Wave Motion Cannon. Dark Bribe helps with the trap issue. In case your opponent's running a lot of traps and a lot of back row removal like Fiendish Chain or Dust Tornado, anything that I've previously mentioned, Dark Bribe helps with the trap aspect, which is also why you could, if you needed to, run Triple Royal Decree in the side deck. That helps as well. This deck doesn't really worry about banishing, so you could also run D-Fisher and Macrocosmos. Royal Decree helps, of course, like I said, with just the traps. MST helps if you're really having to deal with that back row. And Dark Bribe just isn't cutting it, and you feel like you need some more besides Royal Decree, boom, throw in some MSTs. Kaiser Coliseum as well, because you're pretty much only going to be leaving 1 monster on board, which is either going to be Jowgen or a Spy. I mean, you're not really going to have, maybe 2 monsters at most. If you have 3, okay, fine, 3. But you typically want to leave it at 1 to 2 monsters on board, especially if you had just side decked in your Kaiser Coliseums. So Kaiser Coliseum helps with, of course, simplification of the game, slowing down your opponent. I mean, really, it's supposed to just lock out your opponent of everything that they try and do, and then just explode on them with a Wave Motion Cannon with those 8 counters. I will admit, it seems a bit controversial of a deck because, you have to wait 8 whole turns, which this game never seems to go to 8 turns anymore, but in testing, it has been working. Like I said, this is in the project phases, so, take it for what it's worth. And then for the extra deck, really, it's just some stuff that you can make. I really like the play of Slacker Magician. If you feel that your effect failures have been useless to you, just overlay into a Slacker Magician. And this thing is also a spellcaster, so Secret Village still works with it. And on top of that, Downer Magician is also a spellcaster. It's not released yet, so in case you don't know what it does, it takes 2 level 4 spellcasters, so 2 guards, a guard and a spy, anything like that. And Downer Magician's effect is that during your main phase 2, you can also exceed some of this card by using a rank 3 or lower Exceeds monster you control as the Exceeds material. Exceeds materials attached to that monster also become Exceeds materials on this card. So if you have a Zen mains on board from 2 recruiters, and both of them are now detached, boom, make Downer Magician over Zen mains. And then this card gains 200 attack for each Exceeds material attached to it. If this card attacks a defensive position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. After damage calculation, or I'm sorry, if this card battles after damage calculation, detaching Exceeds material from this card. So it straight up becomes a 2700 beater with Zen mains if you leave the Exceeds materials on it, or I'm sorry, if you leave the Exceeds materials on Downer Magician, since it requires 2 level 4, so it automatically becomes a 2700 beater that they have to work around. So in short, the side deck and the extra deck is up to you. Those are just a couple things in the extra deck I wanted to mention. Catastor with the Veilers, Zen mains, Acid because of Recruiter, Heraldic Crest, Key Beetle, Abyss Dweller, Cowboy, Black Ship, Utopia, and Pearl are all great generic rank 4s for your Spy. And Jowgen is just, like I said, perfect for the deck because it just shuts down everything. Just shuts down the special summon. You got Jowgen for special summons, Secret Village for the spells, and then you also got Dark Bribe for the traps. And if you really need to, then game 2 you side deck and roll Decree to shut down your traps. Boom, that's everything right there. And then Valor for the effect monsters if they try and get cute. So anyways, you guys, that is my video. Thank you again so much, Kiko, for allowing me to post on your channel. It was an honor and a pleasure. I really hope you guys go and check out my channel, youtube.com/AvrillR32. I post daily. I post gaming. My channel is also part gaming. I post everything from Call of Duty to Battlefield. Anything that my subscribers ask me to post, I try my very best to post. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please remember to leave a like or a favorite. Subscribe to both me and Kiko. Helps us both out tremendously. And also I do post daily, like I said. So hopefully you guys will enjoy daily uploads. So until then, hopefully see you guys on my channel. Thank you for watching.